Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to It Came From the 80s, D Bougie 86 here. Now, yes, if you can tell, I'm doing It Came From the 80s. This series has been on hiatus for the longest time, but I decided to do one for you because I did watch an 80s film today and I wanted to talk about it. So, this series will be coming back more regularly soon, just trying to figure out a certain type of films that I'm going to be watching for it. But this one's kind of the spur of the moment type deal. And I got this release from Arrow Video. I know this does, I'll get more into like the other release of this film when I get into my final thoughts on it. But of course, the film that I'm doing today is from 1985, and it goes by the title of To Live and Die in LA. Yes. If you haven't seen this film before, this film was directed by William Friedkin, of course, famed director of like classics as The French Connection, The Exorcist, Sorcerer. He also directed The Guardian, Killer Joe, the list goes on of like numerous other films that he directed that are very enjoyable of the ones I've seen of them. And this film actually has William L. Peterson in one of his like first big roles. Of course, he went on to star in like CSI and as Grissom and Manhunter, the Michael Mann film. He was also in the 1996 film Fear with Mark Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon. Numerous and actually a very good actor. I actually really enjoy William Peterson as an actor. And we also got Willem Dafoe, of course. Everyone knows who Willem Dafoe is in the cinema world. Academy Award nominated actor, very great actor. John Pankow, who's an actor that I've seen him in films before, but I'm not really familiar with his work. I have seen him around though. We also get like John Turturro in this film, Dean Stockwell, a lot of like cool like character actors and a few unknown actors too that I don't really know a lot about what they did. But yeah, of course this is William Friedkin's going back to his roots, of course, with like films like The French Connection, which he started with. And this one's a very interesting plot. We're introduced to like the world of a secret service with their side of capturing counterfeiters, and you see them that they do their other job too with like protecting the president in the beginning of the film. But this is a cool aspect of that I actually never knew that Secret Service actually did like the counterfeiting and trying to catch counterfeiters side of it, because that's a very cool job that they have. Very dangerous too, as this film will progress. Now we're introduced to our main character of Chance, who's played by William Peterson. He's a very cop on the edge, as you can tell when we first meet him. He likes to do like jump bridge diving and with like his, like bungee cords and stuff. And he's a very loose cannon on like the Secret Service force. Well, unbeknownst, his partner is actually retiring soon. And he actually following on a lead on a case that he was working on before his days are up, and he's ended up being murdered by this counterfeiter played by Willem Dafoe. His name is Eric Masters, and he's a very interesting and sinister presence in this film. So Chance ends up going on a quest to get revenge for his partner's murder, and he's buddied with a new cop, Officer Velchulage, that's his name, my bad. Of course, played by John Pankow, and he's a very by-the-book type character. When you first meet him, he loosens up as the film progresses, and it's pretty much them trying to stop Willem Dafoe's character in the movie and capturing him. That is pretty much the main plot of the film. Now, my thoughts on this film: a very interesting type film, of course, with like the whole counterfeiting scheme and what goes into counterfeiting. With Willem Dafoe's character is very interesting in the film because we actually see him making like all this fake money, and we get the backstory that he was an artist beforehand when he was in prison, and that's a very cool aspect of being a counterfeiter, to actually make fake money and be an artist. And the way he does it's really cool. And the way the Secret Service, the two main cops that we follow in this film, Chance and Volkovich, as they progress in the film, we see like Volkovich grow as a character throughout it, And it's a very interesting aspect to his character and his arcs that happen with his character. And Chance, of course, is showing like the seedy side of what a Secret Service agent could be and what he could do and how he gets information. So that's a very cool aspect of the film that I really like, and I like all like the sub characters. Like William Peterson has like this woman that he goes sees and makes love to, and she's like one of his informants to like find out information about stuff that he needs to know. And we also get like Willem Dafoe's like love interest in this film, and she's a very interested and mysterious character in the film as the film progresses, and it's a very interesting to watch the relationships like these two characters build throughout it. Of course, we get John Turturro, and a lot of like Dean Stockwell plays like this seedy, dirty lawyer character. He's a very dirty character in the film who works on both sides, but he always does double crossing in his character's way of life. And I really liked the soundtrack to this film. If you don't know, William Friedkin likes to really experiment with like different types of music, as you can tell in like some of his other films, of course, like Sorcerer. He had like the progressive rock band Tangerine Dream do that soundtrack. And this one, he has like 80s pop new wave. Wang Chung actually does the soundtrack to this film, and it's a fucking awesome soundtrack. It really dwells into the 80s aspect of this film with like its very heavy synth score. And in the like the history lesson of like learning about the film, William Friedkin didn't actually want like a theme song to this film, but Wang Chung recorded one anyways, and because of the way they experience and going to LA and stuff. And William Friedkin actually really enjoyed the song so much that it plays in the very beginning of the film. So it's a very interesting song. It's actually one of my favorite 80s songs of all time. Too, if you never heard the To Live and Die in LA song by Wang Chung, it's fucking awesome. Yeah, but if you know, Arrow Video released this in the UK. Shout Factory actually released this in the States under their Shout Select line. And when I was reading about these releases, I found out that they're collaborative with each other. You see, Arrow Video did the transfer of this film, and it's also on the Shout Factory release. And Shout Factory actually produced the special features, which is on both releases too. So if you want to support this release, it's a very awesome release because both companies came together and made like a high octane product of this film, which I respect when companies actually do that and work together, like Shout Factory and Arrow in particular, because there's a lot of like talk about Shout Factory versus Arrow in like my circles, of course. So it's good to see, like, even with like all this like fighting of like who's your favorite company type deal, it's good to see like these companies come together and make a high quality product for both the US and the UK. So very awesome. And of course we get some awesome special features on both releases, like a new interview with William Peterson, which is very in-depth. A few other interviews with other cast members, including the girl who plays Willem Dafoe's girlfriend, Deborah Fuhr. And of course we have one of my favorite features as the actual interview with Wang Chung, as they go into dwelling and talking about the music, and it's just a fucking awesome interview. And of course we get like all like the old like release stuff that was released with like prior releases, like the archival like featurette, and we get the alternative ending, which is very cheesy in itself. But yeah, this is one of my favorite films growing up, and it's a cherished release. So if you are a fan of this film and you're in the UK, grab the Arrow Video version. Or if you're in the US and you don't import, you could grab the Shout Select version. Very awesome that these two companies came together and released an ultimate edition of the film for both the US and the UK. Fucking awesomeness right here. If I had to rate To Live and Die in LA, it's getting a solid 9.5 out of 10 for me. That's how much I fucking love this movie. It's very outstanding, but it's amazing like soundtrack and its character development and just the story, and it goes and dwells into different areas that you never see in like these type of films, like the crime thrillers, that especially during this time period when this came out. So yeah, 9.5 out of 10 for To Live and Die in LA. Awesome shit. Alright guys, that's it for this review of It Came from the 80s. Going on a little longer than I thought it was, but as you can see, I really do love this film, so I had a lot to talk about, especially I wanted to talk about some of the special features. So I'll talk to you soon, guys. I'll see you next video. Peace out.